Uh, Welcome to the fifth session of the fourth module. In the previous class, in the previous session, we have discussed the wind machines. In particularly, we have discussed how this horizontal axis wind turbine does works. Let me talk about the some constructional features and once again the principle of working of a horizontal axis wind turbines. That is what the HAWT stands for. Basically, what happens this horizontal axis wind turbines work predominantly on the lift principle. The lift and the drag forces are the aerodynamical forces of action which makes the turbine blades to rotate. Unfortunately, in the syllabus they have given it in the later where the aerodynamic profiles of that. I'll go in detail when I talked about the aerodynamic effects on the blades. But still, that I have already told you what do you mean by a lift and what do you mean by a drag. So the lift force is predominant one which acts on this horizontal axis wind turbines. As the wind stream interacts, the wind which is coming with certain velocity, when it interacts with the rotor blades, the blades, this is the rotor and there are the blades. So when it interacts with the rotor blades, the lift force is generated. The lift force will be generated as explained in the previous session, causing the rotor to rotate. The rotation speed varies with the design features and the rotor rotate. The rotation speed varies with the design features and the size of the rotor also it depends. Okay, no, I was just talking 8 kilometers per hour is the minimum speed and the cutoff cut-in speed will be around 12.6 to 13 kilometers per hour. So all these things depends upon the size of the rotor blades. Okay, now this what happens for a typical uh, turbine will always have a main shaft transmits this rotation to the high speed shaft through a gearbox. A gearbox will always have a series of gear systems. A larger diameter gear is coupled with a smaller gear, smaller diameter gear, and this smaller gear diameter uh, gear will be coupled to the other one. So there will be a series of gear will be coupled for a common shaft. For a common shaft. Okay, so these are direct drive turbines. These directly drive the turbines also, which do not have a gearbox in the transmission line. This speed is enhanced by the gear trains to which to match the higher speed requirements for the generator. The generator then converts this mechanical energy into electrical energy. There are a series of control systems. These control system will also have a computer interface where this computer will have a sensors which are from the anemometer, sensors from the brake system, the sensors from the turbine blades. So it will always monitor the speed. It will take the data from the anemometer. It will take the data from the shafts, how much speed it is rotating, and it will monitor the sensors, and it will also operate the brake system, the gearbox systems, and then the rotation of the turbines also. That is how we can maintain the cut-in and cut-off speeds. Okay, now there are that is what between for a yaw alignment for power regulations and safety. The detailed description of these can be explained with the figures that we have shown it over here. The basically the what you can see this rotor hub. There are two figures, and I will show you with one more figure actually in the next slide. The blades, now you can see there are two or three blades will be there. The other blade, because it is a side view, we may not be able to see the other one. Initially we will have a nose like structure in the front. As you can see this left figure, a nose like structure in one, for which the number of blades will be attached. These are called as a rotor blades. The place where they have placed this is called as a rotor hub. The hub is the one thing for which a number of blades have been designed, and this rotor hub is been coupled to a shaft at the center of this hub, and this shaft will be taken out to the gearbox, as you can see it here. Now this is in the right side figure. What we can see it is rotor hub with a blade with a pitch mechanism. This is the foundation. Now this is a grid connection. There will be an entry for this, and this is what we call it as a tower, and this is what we call it as a yaw system. What is this basically? A yaw system. A yaw system is something like my hands. It will yaw like this. It will yaw like this. This is called as a yawing. This is called as yawing. This is called as a pitching. This pitching we will come to know. We will discuss only in we talk about ships. Okay, now this here, it is a yawing. It can tilt like this minimum. It can tilt like this based on the direction of the wind. It can tilt with certain angle, not 100% rotation, maybe a yawing. It's only with a fixed movement it can tilt. That is what we call it as a yaw system. Based on the data which is available, they will take this opportunity to yaw the this one itself, the system. So this is a rotor brake. As you can see, this rotor brake is next immediately with the hub, and then we will have a gears, and then the AC generator, then the AC to DC converters. There itself it converts. Then the three-phase inverter will go into the three-phase 60 Hertz AC to the grid step-up transformers. Now, at the meanwhile, as you can see in the next sketch, I'll show you over here. Basically, at the tip of this, at the back side of this, we will always have an anemometer. Anemometer, which tells us the direction and the velocity of the air. So what happens? This will give a control system, a control electronic systems will be there. The motherboard will always controls the yaw movement, the brake, and then the gear systems. The wind sensors, whatever, it may be an anemometer or something else, will be always placed at the top of this. So this wind anemometer will give the instructions to this control electronics, and it will also give an instruction to the braking system. It will also give an instruction to the yaw movements. So this control system will controlling all the following things, which controls the movement of the yaw brake system, and whenever the speed is more, it will also activate the brake so that the blades will not be allowed to rotate. Is it clear? So this is what a constructional details of this horizontal axis vertical turbines. Later, these generator gearbox which have been coupled, as you can see it in this figure, there will be a series of gearboxes will be there with a variable diameter. Lesser the diameter which has been coupled to the higher diameter gearbox will always accelerate the mechanical energy. Is it clear? Now if you see this next sketch where this is a hub, now you can whenever this is easy for you people to draw it in the examination or in the test. This is a line diagram where the hub will be there, then the brake system will be there. Actually we have it is not been shown over here. This will be a brake system will be there. This is a housing, or what we call it as a nacelles. Now even here also you can see this. This is a complete rectangular box. That is what we call it as a nacelle. Nacelle is something like a hub which converts all these things. What all? The rotor hub, the gearbox, the AC to AC generators, and then the AC to DC converters, then three-phase inverters. Everything will be collectively placed in a box. That is what we call it as a nacelles, and it protects from all even and the odds of the variations in the atmospheric conditions. Now here it is. Now brake is also there. The main shaft. This is a two lane that is bar. Now if you can see this main shaft, it starts with the hub till the generator range. Now this is a brake system and this is a gearbox, and above this there will be an air sensors will be there which sense the air, and then we will have a high speed shaft, and this is a low speed shaft. How it has become a high speed shaft? It is become a high speed shaft by this gearbox, where this gearbox multiplies it. If it is rotating at 18 revolutions per minute, it will multiply it to 10 times or 100 times, makes it to 1800 revolutions per minute, and convert that low speed shaft into a high speed shaft over here, and that high speed shaft will be coupled to a generator where an alternating current or a voltage will be generated, and then soon after this generator we will have a converter from alternating current into a direct current. Converters will be there which converts this AC into DC, then it will be given to the grid or the electric source where it will be stored. And this is a housing or a nacelle, and this is the tower. This is how the beauty of this horizontal axis wind turbines does works. Okay, now let us move to the other type of a vertical axis wind turbines, which are also called as a vertical axis, that is VAWT. What are these vertical axis wind turbines basically? Basically, these vertical axis wind turbines are nothing but uh, a type of turbines where the main rotor shaft is set to transverse to the wind, but not necessarily to be vertical. But still, what happens? The main components are located at the base of the turbine. If the tower is like this, the major components are always placed at the base of this. Whereas in a horizontal axis, what happens? All the components will be always placed at the horizontal axis, and it is above the tower. Whereas here at the base of the turbines, the vertical the systems have been placed. If you The major main rotor shaft is set to transverse to the wind, while the main components will be always placed at the base of the turbine. This arrangement allows the major advantage of this is allows the generator and gearbox to be located close to the ground. When we are placing close to the ground, the balancing is easy. Whereas when we are placing at the top, the balancing, the weight of that also matters. It has to be taken care. Is it clear? Which facilitates not only that actually, not only about the balancing, it is also, I was talking about when you have a tower like this for a horizontal axis, whenever there is a maintenance, whenever there is a repair, you have to go inside the tower where the number of ladders will be there, steps will be there. You have to go there and you have to make the repair and you have to come back. Or there may be a temporary lift will also be there. So what happens if the same systems are at the ground level? Then the maintenance and services will be or the repair will be easy to do it. Whereas this vertical axis wind turbines do not need to be pointed towards the wind, because the beauty of that I just shall show you. If this is the tower, the blades will be like this. So no need for any anemometer or anything which has yaw. The wind yaw or the yaw system doesn't require at all. In whichever directions the wind may rotate, wind may come, so it will rotate it. That is a major advantage of this. Okay, so which removes the need for the wind sensing or the orientation of any mechanism, that is a yaw mechanism. Nothing is being recorded. Major drawbacks of this early designs includes actually this vertical axis wind turbines are also called as the Savonius. Okay, includes the significant torque variation or a ripple during the each revolution, and the large bending moments on the blades does occurs. Later designs addressed to the torque ripple issued by the sweeping of the blades helically, because they will be like this helically, so that leads to some failure of the material. So compared to the small horizontal axis wind turbines, it is always difficult to maintain the design, and the failure of the turbine blades will be more often meant to occur. Makes them a good alternating distributed general one. The vertical axis wind turbines has its axis perpendicular to the wind streamlines and vertical to the ground. The more general term that includes the option is transverse axis wind turbines. They are also called as transverse wind axis turbines. And more of, we can also have a different types of vertical axis wind turbines. Basically, the one sketch I just shall show you over here is this. This is the one. Now I will go back to the explanation. Okay. Now you can see this. There are a number of blades, 3 blades which have been placed like this. Where this is a tower. The tower is not all is also need not necessary to be so taller of 100 feet. Where in the horizontal axis wind turbines, we will have a minimum of a nominal height of 100 feet, where this is not required to be 100 feet. That is the one major advantage. Now you just observe this sketch, then I'll go back to this explanation and working principle of this. Now this vertical axis turbines, as the name itself implies, has a main rotor shaft arranged vertically, rotor shaft, whereas that rotor shaft is horizontal, whether this rotor shaft is vertical one. Typically these are smaller in nature, and do not need to be pointed in the direction of the wind. That is the reason why we don't require any uh, sensing elements. They are thereby able to take advantage of wind that is variable in terms of direction. Now we might experience it in most of the cases. If you have two or three windows or in your home, you can observe in January the direction of the wind flow will be different. In the March, the motion, the wind speed in one particular direction will be severe, and in one when you go for Ashad or whatever we call it in the later part of the Shravana, that is in August or September, so what happens, the wind direction will be different. So in such cases, what happens for the horizontal axis wind turbines has to be yawed. It has to have a yawing mechanism in order to rotate it into a particular direction. But what happens when you have a vertical axis one? So any direction it may be, the wind, it will generate with the same amount of power. This is the beauty of this. The VAWT is a type of wind turbine wherein the main rotor shaft is set to transverse to the wind but not necessarily vertically, while the main components are located at the base of the turbine. So obviously the servicing and repairing will be easier, and they do not need to be pointed into the wind directions, which removes the need for wind sensing and the orientation mechanism. But one of the major drawback of this vertical axis wind turbine is that we cannot have a bigger one. It is only because the failure of the turbine blades will be often there. Is that clear? The major drawback for the early designs include the significant torque variation or ripple during each revolution. There are ripples and each directions, and the large bending moments on the blades. So now the beauty of this is it can rotate in either clockwise or it can rotate in a counterclockwise also. Now you can ask me, sir, if it rotates in clockwise direction, if suddenly if it wind blows in the other direction, it will rotate. Obviously, my dear friends, that is the reason why whatever the energy that we are getting, it is an alternating current. So when we are taking it as an alternating current as an output, so doesn't matter in which direction does it make. It is being designed in such a way that any direction of the wind it may be, it will generate and it will rotate and it will develop the power. Okay, later designs addressed the torque ripple issue by sweeping the blades. The vertical axis wind turbines are not widespread, but their simplicity and better performance is disturbed flow fields. That is the reason why it has been the simple in design and not complicated as compared to the horizontal axis wind turbines. Make them a good alternative for distributed generation devices in urban environments. This is a major advantage by which it will generate the energy in the urban environments also. Okay. Now, even if you consider this, a horizontal turbines will always have a like this. No balancing. The tower has to be placed. It is of 100 feet, a nominal one. It has to be assembled. That is the one more factor. And then inside the tower, we have to make the steps in order for the repairing and for the maintenance. Then we have to go there, and there should be a hub, and then the blades has to be assembled. So it is not a joke, it is a very high challenges. Then at the back side we will have a nacelles. Nacelles are the covering which has to be included with the controlling system, and it should have a gear system. It should also have sensing on the computer system which should monitor, a controller should monitor the brake system. It should monitor the yawing and it should monitor the speed directions, and it should monitor variations in the speed also. So these complexities is not present in the vertical axis turbines. That makes an alternative use for this wind turbines to be placed in the urban places, urban environments also. Now, a vertical axis wind turbine has its axis perpendicular to the wind streamlines and the vertical ground, that is there. A more general term that includes this option is a transverse axis wind turbine or a cross flow wind turbine. Okay, it is only because of the wind, the blades will be like this. The air flows cross. It flows cross like this. Maybe you might have experienced it. If you go for any park, there will be a round disc will be there. People will be standing all around this, and it will be rotated like this. So that is what we call it as a rippling action. When you rotate it faster, there will be a rippling action. Is it clear? So that is why it is called as a transverse axis or a transverse axis, or it may be called as a cross flow. A wind turbine airfoil works in the same way as in aeroplane wing. The aerofoil has a flat side and a curved side. A flat side, and of course there will be curved side. The result of air passing over the two sides of the forces known as the lifts. When an aeroplane speeds down a runway, air passes on both sides of the aerofoil wings, and lift forces literally lifts the aeroplane into the air. That is what obviously I have told you. If you have a blade like this, aeroplane blade like this, whenever if it lifts like this, so the air which comes over here makes this to lift. The same way, when you want to land, when the aeroplane has to be landed, it will be made like this, so that it just pulls it downwards and makes it for the easy landing of the aeroplane. That is the aerofoil, the blades. When this will continue as long as there is a forward motion over the aerofoil to generate a required lift. The wind turbines uses this same principle, but instead of flying up and away, the aerofoils are secured to a hub, which in turn is attached to the generator shaft. That is what. Obviously, that has to be raised to a shaft, and it should be coupled to a generator shaft. A air passing over the airfoils, wind turbine blades, are converted into rotational movement, which spins the generator. That is the idea behind of it. Now the action of this blade is similar to the aerodynamic principles used in helicopters, and it makes the operations of this type of wind turbine quieter than a horizontal axis wind turbine for the same size. Now the same principle is also being used even in the helicopter blades, which makes the helicopter to lift. The same way, the same lift, since now even you might have seen it, helicopters will also have certain blades. When it starts rotating, the lift makes it to move away from the earth surface. The same way, since these blades have been curved and they have been fixed to a hub, instead of moving away, what they will do it is they will just ripple off. They will just go away. Is that clear? It is something like you take a stone and tie up a thread, and you just keeps moving it, rotating it. It always moves away. So that makes it to move with higher speed. Though if you compare for the same size of a vertical axis and a horizontal axis, the noise that is being generated by the vertical axis turbines is less compared to the noise which is being generated by the horizontal axis wind turbines, because there is a less friction on the blades. The blades can rotate with equal torque regardless of the wind's direction. When the wind blows, it creates a positive force in the scoop and a negative force on the back side of the scoop. Scoop is nothing but something like this. When the wind blows, it creates a positive force at the forces inside the scoop and the negative forces on the back side of the scoop. This is the back side of the scoop, this is the positive side of the scoop. Why it is called as a scoop? You might have seen it. If you go for any ice cream parlors, you will have a scooping like this. It's a scooping like this. So this shape itself is called as a scooping one. So it just scoops it away. No, the forces which are exerting inside the scoop, even that is the reason why even in the bucket anemometers, you might have seen it. Bucket anemometers will also have something like scoops all around. Is it clear? So this scooping will always have a more positive force on this positive side on the inside the scoop and the negative forces on the back side or the rear end of the scoops. This difference in forces push this turbine around. In a typical turbine, the wind comes from the front of the cylinder causing the rotations. However, wind also strikes the backside of the other scoops, tending to slow down the rotor. Now, if you can see this, we have once again here also we have a similar systems. Control electronics will be there, or controller will be there, but no need to maintain uh, the yaw effect, the yaw mechanism as we maintain it in the horizontal vertical axis. Now you can see this, a black color one which shows a shaft, a low speed shaft, and the topmost at the point where the black point is highlighted, which is nothing but a hub. Now this hub is a vertical one from top till the bottom. Whatever you see this, a gray color, dark gray color one, that is what we call it as a hub. What happens if you see this hub in the horizontal axis? The hub will not be such a lengthy or that so much of larger. It will be wider but not taller. Is it clear? Because this is a vertical axis, it will be rotating. So in general words, how to remember this horizontal and vertical axis is nothing but, if you see this vertical axis, if it is rotating like this, oh, it is rotating like this. If you take the centermost point of this rotation, it is vertical. If you see a horizontal, it is rotating like this. In whichever the directions it may be rotating, if it is rotating like this, if you take the centermost portion of this, it is a horizontal one. That is how you can remember, my dear friends, which is a horizontal axis and which is a vertical axis. Okay, don't get confused. Now then, the shaft, the hub makes it rotate, and this is being coupled to a shaft which is being placed to the gear system. Before this gear system, we will have a sensors which sense the wind speed and directions. Direction may not be necessary, at least for the speed of the wind is necessary. And then we will have a braking systems for the safety hazards of the turbines. And then we will have a control electronics which controls everything, and we will have a low speed shaft, then a gear system or a gear trains or maybe gearbox, and this gearbox will multiply this and it will send it to the AC generators, where this AC generators takes this high speed shaft. The low speed shaft is coupled at the entry of the gearbox, whereas the high speed shaft is being coupled at the exit of this gearbox, and that will be an inlet or the input energy for the AC generators, which take this high speed shaft and converts that into alternating voltage. That will be once again converted into DC by AC to DC converters. Then it will be given to the three-phase inverters. This three-phase inverters will be given to the three-phase 60 Hz alternating current to the grid setup transformers. This makes a vertical axis vertical axis wind turbines to be more quieter and more effective, but still it is not been used much in India. It is only because of its own limitations in the design factors. Now as we can see this, turbines it may deform in shape because of the higher winds or continuous rotating. That is the reason why at the top and bottom they have also given a connections so that there should not be any deformation. When you have a three blades like this, if any one blade, if it deforms, certainly it will affect the balancing of the mechanical balancing of the system, and it will also act severely on the other two blades also. So that is the reason why the blades or the designing of this vertical axis wind turbine is more complicated, but obviously it has got its own advantages, that is repairing and maintenance, and its size is also a restriction for this actually. So in the next class we shall discuss what are the advantages and disadvantages of this vertical axis wind turbines compared to the horizontal axis. Now even given one more sketch, this gives you a better picture idea the difference between horizontal axis wind turbine and the vertical axis wind turbine. Now here this is wind turbine and the foundation needs to be very strong. Now you can see this gearbox, rotor base, generator, everything is at the bottom, whereas here the gearbox generator is being placed inside the nacelle and it is above the ground level, so it is very difficult for the balancing. Exactly, this is called as a rotor diameter, how big it is, whereas this is the rotor height is this one and the width is this much. These are all the rotor blades, and here the rotor blades are like this. This is called as a rotor tower and this is called as a chest tower. This is a fixed pitch rotor blades. These are all the variable pitch rotor blades. Wind direction of a downward to the rotor, and this is the wind direction for the upward rotor. This is a rotor diameter what we can see it here. Rotor diameter it seems to be very small, less compared to the rotor diameter over here. This is a rotor height. Is it clear? Now you can make out the lot of difference. Equator height. This is an equator height, whereas this is a hub height. This is always looks taller, and it should be a taller when it comes to the horizontal axis wind turbines. So this by drawing the sketches you can make it out what are the differences that between HAWT and VAWT. That gives us a better picture, construction differences as well as the working principles in the between two types of wind turbines. Next class we shall discuss the advantages and disadvantages of vertical axis wind turbine against to this horizontal axis wind turbines.